So my name is Dr. Jogin Desai. I am the founder and CEO of Eyestem Research Private Limited. Dry AMD's full form is dry age-related macular degeneration. AMD is the largest cause of preventable blindness for people over 50 globally. It is estimated that around 170 million people suffer from this disease globally, out of which 15 to 40 million people are in India. This disease manifests as a blurring of the central vision, and finally the patient becomes blind. There is no cure for this globally. It happens because a layer of the eye known as the retinal pigment epithelium starts getting damaged because of a lot of reasons which are multifactorial. And once that becomes damaged, the light sensing cells of the eye, which are the photoreceptors, start collapsing. So you can imagine RPE as sort of the foundation of a building and the photoreceptors as the building. So once the foundation goes, the building collapses, and that is when patients become blind. So that's in a nutshell what is dry AMD. So cell therapy is extremely interesting because that I firmly believe is the next wave of medical innovation for the next 15 years. Induced pluripotent stem cells are the kind of cells which can be nudged into becoming any cell of the body. It can be a heart, lung, eye, etc., etc. So you have the potential to replace damaged tissue. In this case, we have chosen AMD, but in general for any tissue you can replace it, and that is extremely exciting for us, because if we can create a scalable model to replace any tissue, starting with the eye, then that opens up new frontiers of innovation and treatment for people, and that's very exciting for us. So the reason why I got into, and all my founders got into starting this company, is because currently the cell therapy models globally are not scalable at all. Just to give you an idea, if you look at cell and gene therapy, both are in the same group. If you look at Luxturna, which is the last FDA approved gene therapy that is now being marketed, the cost of that is around $500,000 for a single vial. So if for 2 eyes you would need $1 million. This is not scalable at all, especially for problems which are so intractable and so heartbreaking. We have to find a way to get these cell therapies to be scalable and affordable, and we want to democratize access to cell therapy to what I call the bottom 99.99% of humanity, because currently only the 0.01%, not even the 1%, 0.01% can afford it. You're absolutely right that we have received several prestigious awards from the Department of Biotechnology, and we thank them for it. I mean, they have DBT, BIRAC has been an incredibly important part of our ecosystem. CCAMP, without which nothing of this would have been done, is an incredible important part of our ecosystem. The investor base for Eyestem even today is global. So we've received investments from our primary investors are based in Zurich, India, and South Africa. All former Quintiles people who know and understand the drug development business really, really well. We have been recently joined by Kotak Investment Advisors. So we're very fortunate in that aspect. Anything that we do has to be something that can be submitted either to the DCGI or the FDA or the EMA. So anything that we do has to be of a standard that can be audited by any regulatory agency in the world. And that's from day one that has been our philosophy. The growth can be astronomical in my opinion, because you have now created a cell from which you have a cell which can be developed into any tissue. For example, after dry AMD, one of the things that we are looking for is pulmonary fibrosis. So we have developed lung cells in the lab, which have the potential to replace the alveolar cells which die when there is pulmonary fibrosis. Pulmonary fibrosis is the end stage for everything, right? COPD, tuberculosis, COVID, you name it. Everything ultimately goes into pulmonary fibrosis. So that's the kind of potential. Now you can extrapolate that potential into developing cells for anything else, like cells for CNS, for example. There is this whole thing about cancer and the NK cells which can help cure cancer. So the potential is humongous. I think we are just beginning to see the revolution that is going to unfold in we're just beginning to see the revolution that is going to unfold in new treatment paradigms for patients. And if we can figure out how to create the platform that is scalable and affordable from the very beginning, then a huge amount of patients will be able to benefit from it. So I'm here for the long term. I think Eyestem, we wanted to create Eyestem because we want to set global benchmarks for affordable cell therapy. I firmly believe that anything that we do has to have the best practices that enables our data to be submitted globally, and we want to create a virtuous cycle of innovation from the platform that we have created. So the platform is, we've got the people, we've got the processes, we've got the cell lines, we've got the quality assurance. That's the platform from which the first of that product is to treat macular degeneration or AMD. The next will be probably for retinitis pigmentosa, for pulmonary fibrosis. So I see in the next 10 to 15 years, a global company based out of India, which is able to treat a lot of these incurable diseases globally. We are not interested in something which has already been done in the West and copying it and doing it here. It has to be, the science has to be global. It has to be among the first 5 companies globally. Let's just put it that way. Otherwise, it is of no interest to us. So that's what I look at for in the next 10 to 15 years.